Ladies and gentlemen, before we speak about sustainability, before we explore eco-friendly living, before we examine the structures we inhabit, we must begin with something deeper, something more human. We must begin with awareness. Because the truth is, we are living in a defining moment of history, a moment where the choices we make today are no longer temporary. They are permanent echoes that will shape the world for generations to come. Never before has humanity had so much power. Power to build, power to innovate, power to transform entire landscapes in a matter of years. But with that power comes a responsibility we can no longer ignore. For decades, progress has been measured in speed, convenience, and expansion. Bigger cities, faster production, more consumption. And yes, these advancements have brought comfort, opportunity, and growth. But they have also come with a hidden cost. A cost we are only now beginning to fully understand. The air we breathe is changing. The climate is shifting. Natural resources are being stretched beyond their limits. And yet, in the midst of all these global challenges, there is one place where change remains deeply personal, deeply tangible, and incredibly powerful. Our homes. Because home is where our habits are formed. It is where our values are expressed. It is where the future quietly begins. Every light we turn on, every drop of water we use, every product we bring into our space, these are not just routine actions. They are decisions. And collectively, they tell a story about who we are and what we stand for. Today, we are here not to assign blame, but to rediscover possibility, not to dwell on fear, but to awaken responsibility. And most importantly, not to talk about sacrifice, but to talk about transformation. Because sustainable living is not about giving things up. It is about gaining something greater, a healthier environment, a stronger connection to our surroundings, a deeper sense of purpose in the way we live. And as we explore this topic together, I invite you to keep one simple idea in mind. What if the solution to one of the world's biggest challenges begins in the place you feel safest? What if your home, your everyday choices, could become part of a global movement toward healing and renewal? That is the journey we are about to take. Ladies and gentlemen, take a moment and think about the place you call home. Not just the walls, not just the roof, but the feeling. The smell of morning coffee drifting through the kitchen, the laughter echoing in the living room, the quiet comfort of knowing that behind that door, you are safe. Home is more than a structure. It is where life unfolds. But today, I want to ask you a deeper question. What if the very place we call home is quietly harming the only larger home we all share? Our planet. Because here's the truth. Our homes, the places we love most, are responsible for a significant portion of energy consumption, water usage, and carbon emissions in the United States. And yet, they also hold the greatest power to become part of the solution. Tonight, we're not just talking about buildings. We're talking about responsibility. We're talking about legacy. We're talking about the future we are choosing or failing to choose. This is a story about transformation. A story about how small changes inside our homes can create massive change outside them. And most importantly, this is a story about hope. Section 1, the reality we can no longer ignore. Let's begin with honesty. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is not something reserved for scientists or policymakers. It is here. We see it in wildfires that consume entire communities, in hurricanes that grow stronger and more destructive, in heat waves that push cities to their limits. And while industries and governments play a major role, we must also face a difficult truth. Our everyday lifestyle choices contribute to this reality. Think about it. Lights left on in empty rooms, energy-hungry appliances running constantly, water wasted without a second thought, materials used once and thrown away. Individually, these may seem small, but multiplied across millions of homes, they become a force powerful enough to shape the planet. The question is not whether change is needed. The question is, will we be part of that change? Section 2, redefining what home means. For generations, the American dream has included a home, a bigger kitchen, more space, more comfort. And there is nothing wrong with comfort. But what if we redefined comfort? What if comfort meant breathing cleaner air inside your home? Knowing your energy use isn't harming the environment. Living in a space designed for both people and the planet. What if the true measure of a home wasn't its size, but its impact? Because a sustainable home is not about sacrifice. It is about smarter living. It is about creating a space that gives more than it takes. Section 3. The power of small changes. One of the biggest myths about eco-friendly living is this: that it's too expensive, that it's too complicated, that it requires a complete lifestyle overhaul. But the truth is much simpler. Change begins with small steps. Switching to LED lighting, unplugging devices when not in use, installing a programmable thermostat, fixing leaks to conserve water. These are not radical actions, but they matter. Because sustainability is not about perfection, it is about progress. And when millions of people make small changes, those changes become a movement. Section 4. Energy. The heart of the sustainable home. Let's talk about energy. Energy powers our homes, our lives, our routines. But traditional energy sources come at a cost, one paid by our environment. The good news? We are living in a time of incredible innovation. Solar panels are more accessible than ever. Smart home technology allows us to monitor and reduce energy use. Energy-efficient appliances are becoming the standard. Imagine a home that produces its own energy, reduces utility bills, minimizes environmental impact. That is no longer a dream. That is today's reality. And every step toward energy efficiency is a step toward independence, resilience, and sustainability. Section 5. Water, the resource we take for granted. Turn on a faucet. Water flows instantly. Clean, safe, reliable. But across the world, billions do not have this luxury. And even here in America, water scarcity is becoming a growing concern. Sustainable living means recognizing that water is not infinite. Simple changes can make a difference. Low-flow fixtures, water-efficient landscaping, conscious consumption. Because every drop saved is a step toward protecting one of our most vital resources. Section 6. Waste, rethinking what we throw away. Look at your trash can. Now imagine that multiplied by every household in the country. Where does it all go? Landfills are overflowing. Oceans are filling with plastic. Resources are being wasted at an alarming rate. But here's the powerful truth. Waste is not inevitable. We can reduce what we consume, reuse what we already have, recycle responsibly. And beyond that, we can shift our mindset from disposable living to intentional living, because sustainability is not just about what we use, it's about what we choose not to waste. Section 7. Building for the future. The homes we build today will shape the world of tomorrow. Sustainable construction focuses on eco-friendly materials, efficient design, long-term durability. Imagine neighborhoods where homes are designed to maximize natural light, materials are sourced responsibly, communities are built with sustainability at their core. This is not just architecture, this is vision. Section 8. The human connection. At its core, sustainability is not about technology. It is about people. It is about protecting families, preserving communities, ensuring future generations have the same opportunities we do. Because one day our children will ask us, what did you do when you knew the planet was in danger? And we will have an answer. Section 9. Overcoming barriers. Yes, change can be difficult. Yes, there are costs. Yes, there are challenges. But every major transformation in history began with individuals willing to act. We don't need everyone to be perfect. We need people to be committed. And when enough people commit, change becomes unstoppable. Section 10. A call to action. So where do we go from here? We start at home, literally. Evaluate your energy use. Reduce your waste. Conserve water. Make intentional choices. Talk to your neighbors. Inspire your community. Lead by example, because change spreads. And it starts with you. Conclusion. The legacy we leave behind. Let me leave you with this. Years from now, long after we are gone, our homes will still stand. But what will they represent? Will they be symbols of excess or symbols of responsibility? Will they reflect a generation that ignored the warning signs or one that rose to the challenge? The choice is ours, right here, right now. Because sustainability is not just about saving energy. It is about saving possibility. It is about creating a world where future generations can thrive. A world where homes are not just places we live, but places that protect, nurture, and sustain life itself. So tonight, when you return to your home, look at it differently. See not just what it is, but what it could become. Because the future of our planet may very well begin at your front door. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect. Not on the statistics, not on the technologies, not even on the challenges we have discussed, but on something far more important, your role in this story. Because sustainability is not a distant concept reserved for experts or policymakers. It is not confined to international agreements or scientific reports. It is personal. It lives in the quiet decisions you make every single day, the way you design your space, the way you consume energy, the way you treat the resources around you. And while it may seem small in isolation, it is anything but small. Because history has shown us something remarkable. Real change rarely begins with institutions. It begins with individuals, with people who decide, quietly, firmly, and intentionally, that they will do things differently. And when enough people make that decision, the world changes. Not overnight, not instantly, but inevitably. The movement towards sustainable homes and eco-friendly living is not just about protecting the environment. It is about redefining progress. It is about creating a future where innovation and responsibility go hand in hand, where comfort and consciousness coexist, where the places we live do not deplete the planet, but help restore it. And perhaps most importantly, it is about legacy. One day, future generations will look back at this moment in time. They will study it. They will question it. They will try to understand the choices we made. And in that moment, what will matter most is not what we said, but what we did. Did we recognize the urgency of the situation? Did we embrace the opportunity to change? Did we take action, even when it was inconvenient, even when it required effort? Or did we wait? Each of us is writing that answer right now, through our homes, through our habits, through our willingness to act. So as you leave here today, I do not ask you to be perfect. I do not ask you to transform everything overnight. I ask you for something far more powerful, to begin. Begin with awareness. Begin with intention. Begin with one change, one decision, one step. Because the path to a sustainable future is not built all at once. It is built day by day, home by home, choice by choice. And if we choose wisely, if we act boldly, if we commit sincerely, then the future will not be something we fear. It will be something we create. A future where our homes are not just places of comfort, but symbols of care, responsibility, and hope. A future where living well also means living wisely. A future where the legacy we leave behind is not one of depletion, but one of renewal. Thank you.